What is going on, people? I'm the Broken Puppet, and welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a really fun one. I'm going to show you guys how to draw a really nice, cool, classic, traditional rose. I'm going to be doing this on my 3D models. Got my 3D hand here, which is really cool. If you haven't seen it, you can try it out. But don't worry, you can follow along anyhow you want. You can do this on normal paper, you can do this on a blank Procreate page. I'm just being a bit fancier than this on here because it's fun to do. You know, pretty much as simple as that. You know, I love these things. So the setup's going to be really interesting for this. Really, well, I say interesting, really quite basic. So we come on here. I've turned off my designs, which are on here. So we've just got a blank model, just like this. You can go to the top, grab a blank model if you want, but I'm just going to go from here. So we've got a tattoo here section. And I've just got these 5 layers which we're going to use. So we've got sketching, sketch 2, color, shading, and lining. That's all you need to worry about. You know, it doesn't matter what these other ones, that's all we're going to use. The others, forget about them. So the idea, we're going to sketch on here. And once we're on base sketch, we're going to turn it down, and then we're going to refine our sketch. And once we refine our sketch, we're going to line it, and then we're going to shade it and color it. That's simple. That's the layout. That's the process. That is what we are going to do. So I'm going to go back to my sketching layer 2 now. And I'm going to come up in here, and I'm going to go to the sketching, and I'm going to use my technical pencil. It comes standard. If you've got Procreate, you have this brush. Real simple. And once you've got this, I'm going to come to the side over here, color drop. I'm just going to select my dark red. You can just select dark red if you want. Again, it's just one of the little fancy things in my new 3D set. Just saying. But anyway, people, here we go. So sketching layer, technical pencil, and we are ready to roll. So I'm just going to sketch in a nice big circle here. This is basically where I want the rose to sit. I want it to sit inside this space. So it's going to be the basic size of it. And then inside you're going to have the buds. Now the buds I want to put here. Now I want to make sure this is a little bit higher up than this part over here. So this part's going to be quite big, and it's going to be a little bit further up than the center. I just feel like it works better that way. So 2 circles, big circle there, big circle there. Don't worry about being neat. We're just basically plotting basic shapes. And once I've got this, I'm going to work out where I want some leaves. So the leaves are going to go outside this circle. So I'm going to have an oval here for one, maybe. One over here, little one next to it. I like to make some little clusters. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 there maybe. One over there. Possibly one there, I don't know. I like the others. I'll see about that one. We put on there as a maybe. So no worries. So next we're going to do the little, the petals. So the petals are real simple. It's going to be in this section. So this is the bud. This is the petals. Now we want to make sure there's at least 5. I just feel 4 never quite works. So anything more than 5, you're golden. So I'm going to put a little line just here. A little line just over here. So that's one petal just there. So you sectioned out. Don't worry about being accurate. We're just basically marking out some rough little lines again. Just don't worry about the it's just part of the process. A little line this way, a little line there. So I've got another 2, and maybe another 2 just here. No, the best way is just to kind of get the structure first and go from there. So now we've got that. I'm just going to put a little line just inside each one of these, just to divide these up, like so. Real nice and simple. And then you got the buds. Now, a lot of people kind of get stuck on the bud, they don't know what to do, and they just go for the really basic kind of one, which you can do, which is perfectly fine. But the easiest way to make it interesting is to do this. So we're just going to divide out. So I'm going to get a little line. I'm going to cut across here. So, okay, that looks pretty nice. Going to get a little line across here. And then with those, I'm going to do a little curve, just basically joining in between these. I'm going to throw another little line just coming off here. And another one just over there. Just make a few little interesting lines, just cut through it, just divide it up, chop it up. You know, you can't really go wrong. And once you've got that, we can turn these into nice little overturned petals. And it's going to make it different every time, you know, as long as you don't do the same design. But yeah, just randomize it. Just a line here, line there, line there. And once you have it, you've got the base. So now we have this. We're going to go up on here, and we're going to turn our transparency down. So click on the layer, and you've got the opacity just here. We're going to slide this down to, say, about 50%. Just so we can see it, but we don't need it there. You know, that's the idea behind it. So now we've got it done. We're going to go in and start refining this. So we're going to come in to this midsection just here. So again, I'm going to start over that line we just done there. So, okay, so how can we make this interesting? So now I'm going to create a little loop. It's going to curve. And this one's going to curve out there. And then we know we've got a little line just there. So that's our first little section inside it. And so, okay, so now we've got this one here. So let's go there. Maybe just for a little bend just there, just for, because why not? You know, pretty much with the roses. And then I'm going to create this line over here. And then again, I'm just going to create this little dip in the center. So I've got this nice little pan here. So these kind of got a little dip in each one. The colour paint pad, you can make multiple dips if you want. So I mean, say if you had that, you could just have the one dip like that, to reach one curve. You could have like 1, 2, 3 if you wanted. You know, just play around with it until you kind of get one that kind of like feels about right. And you can mix them up as well. Don't feel like you have to be restricted to just one of them. And then once you go to here, this is going to be like what I call the center of the bud. Now, the center of the bud, you can do like dead simple if you wanted to. You could just do like a few little curves. You can go like this and like this. You know, something like that. You can create like a nice little spiral. You kind of go around like a loop, curve around, which is one of my favorites. So you basically just get like a spiral, spin it around, and then create a line around the outside, and you create this nice little space there. And there's other ways you can do it. But yeah, just kind of play around with it. I mean, you can do more of these. You can just come to a basic, just one if you want. But play around with it and see what you kind of like. I quite liked how the spiral went, so I was going to put that in there. So, little spiral like that. Lines on the outside. And get these joined up just here. There are little things you can do as well if you wanted to. On the outside here, you can have this kind of curve this way. And then you can get like little overturned bits. So like this can go like this. And curve like this. And you create this little kind of shell that fits around it. You know, these can be quite fun. And you can use any how you want. You can kind of come around here. Come around the outside parts. And kind of break into it. It's just little options you can do if you want to. So, we got that done there. So, should I have one of those or not? No, I like how this looks. I might do another one at some point and I'll sort of put some of those in there, but it's just another option I'll throw to you guys. So now we're going to come to our petals. So we're going to stick within the shape. We're just going to make the shape a bit more interesting. So rather than a harsh straight line on the side there, we're going to loop out. And you can see here, I've got these two little points here. This kind of bumps in a touch. And this one's going to bump in a touch just there as well. Going to create a little loop just in here. So yeah, I'm quite liking that one. Not too sure about that. I might just use that for shading guide, but just going to mark out the area. And now again, you can kind of repeat these kind of shapes around if you want. Or what you can do sometimes, I like to have them kind of like curve up and around. So this one's going to curve like this. And then when we get to here, it's going to have more like a down shape. And I might put a little curve line just in here. You can always come to a point as well if you wanted to. Just a sense that everything's kind of coming up and around into it. You know, I quite like that. And if you want to add a little extra one, you can always come in the inside part here and put a little like internal loop, which I'm quite liking the idea of actually. I might do that either side. So we've got the side one here, here, and you've got these two little overturns. Sometimes above this one, it's nice to have a little center one, so I'm going to create a little loop. Just there, this is going to sit just above the bulb head. So, you know, that main part of the buds, this is going to sit just above it, just there. And that one's separated the other petals. So now we're going to go that. We're going to go these petals around the outside. They're going to go here. And this one's going to go over there. Like I said, just kind of play around the edges so you kind of get one that kind of fits nicely. You know, that's all you need. And once we've got that, we can now sketch in our petals. Now, the leaves. Now, the leaves, there's countless ways doing leaves. You've got so many. You can literally do the most basic one in the world where you kind of go like this. And just go curve, curve, curve. Curve, 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 and you have something like that. You can come back, you can do a little V-shaped line just like this, and you can do like a plain line around the outside, like so. You can do one like that, and then curve this line out, come around, like this. It's all about the shapes and this little stuff like that. You can put a little V-shape just here, and colour that differently. You can do little lines going this way if you wanted to. You can do little lines where they're just on the inside to change it up. You know, on the outside part, you could have a jagged edge where you kind of go like this. You know, leaves are one of the easiest things in the world to change about once you kind of get a sense of what to do. Just think of the structure. You know, you got the initial stem, the outside edge, and if you want a little feature at the end, and the inside little lines. Once you have those, you can just switch between them and change them up however you want to. So I'm going to go for a nice basic one I quite like. I quite like that initial V shape. That's quite nice. So I'm going to curve like this, and I'm just going to loop 1, 2, loop 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to have a little line that just points in between each one of those little segments. I'm not going to go over the head. I quite like this one to be quite simple. And I'm going to do this for most of them. And I might just have these little secondary one a little bit different. You know, like you don't want to have too many changes in them. You know, like 2, 3, them kind of like, you know, leaves works. But yeah, anything more than that, you kind of make it a bit too busy. You know, I used to say just 1 or 2 works perfectly, 3 at a push. But yeah, don't go too crazy. It's very easy to overdo it. So it's going to sketch that in there. So it's going to sketch all these main ones in first, that we know what we're dealing with. Again, don't worry too much about the detail. We're going to come back and neaten this all up. We're just trying to get our structure. Once our structure looks good, we'll kind of build from there. But the problem is, if you don't have a structure that you kind of know is going to be okay, then there's no point really kind of working with it, because if it starts going wrong and you've got to do the whole thing again. Just build our base sketch. Real simple. So I think this one is going to make it quite simple. So it's going to be like that on the outside edge. That again, just there. Might make this one just a simple one. Just come down the finger a little bit. Oops. And then, yeah, maybe just one just on the edge. Just there. So yeah, I'm liking how that's looking. I think it's got a nice kind of structure to it. So now we've got it done. We can link it. So now we've got the sketch work done. We're going to do the lining. Now for the lining, we're going to go onto the lining layer. This sits above it. It makes it a lot easier to use. And if you go up in here, I'm going to be using, actually, you got my BTB set, which is all of tattoo stuff. This is really cool. I'll let you use this, but you guys might have access to this. So to make things a bit fair, so something you have, I'm going to come down to what I would normally use. Let's go to inking. And I'm going to go for Studio Pen, I think. There we go. Yeah. And this works really cool. My other stuff works really good, but this is something you'll have to, be able to use. So just basic Studio Pen. So now I'm going to draw over the top, just like so. But yeah, if you'd like to use my actual needle set, it's really fun to give a go. It comes with my 3D stuff. So if you bought my deluxe package or the standard package, it comes with that. It's a really cool set. It mimics all the tattoo needles. I spent a lot of time working on this, so it works really nice. And it's specifically made for like the 3D stuff. But let's stick to what everyone generally has. So this tutorial is basically friendly for absolutely everyone. So I'm literally just going over the line work we've just done and just making everything a bit neater. You can draw and hold if you want, and you basically get that perfect edge. It still works with the 3D. Just like so. Just bring them in here just like this. Be careful how much you zoom in and out, because with the 3D stuff, if you zoom in and out, it changes your line width. Unfortunately, Procreate doesn't have an ability to stop that. Which would be really great if they did. They say they do, but the function they say for it just doesn't really work. So the idea is just keep your lines nice and smooth. We want nice, smooth lines on these things. And any little extra lines you want to get, we're doing after. I'll do the extra lines afterwards. The extra lines are just kind of another way of kind of edit and just make it a bit more different. And always be careful what angle you go at the 3D stuff as well, because if you got too much of an angle, it's going to elongate your lines and just look a little bit weird sometimes. But yeah, I'm really liking how this is coming out. It's coming out really nice. So let's get our leaves in here now, shall we? So I'm going to start off with that nice kind of V shape, and I'm just going to curve out like that. And then we're just going to bump. So we're going to go 1 bump, 2 bump, 3 bump. Then when we do the other side, we want to try and match it up. So try and think of whether, like that sort of same point would be on the other side. So I'm going to go there. So go a little bit wider out there, a bit close, I think. So yeah, that's good. 1 bump, 2 bump, 3 bump. And then I'm just going to go line, 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 line. So you can see it's kind of like pointing in between those little loops. Just like so. Just like so. Again, we're doing it on the hands. We want to make sure everything kind of fits in comparison to the hand. That's the really good thing about being able to draw on this kind of sort of type of model and this kind of pose. And that's the whole time we're doing it, we're thinking about the position. So if you were, say, a tattooist and you're sort of trying to like draw out a hand design, this is just so much more practical to work with, to better get the anatomy and just get everything kind of fit in kind of exactly the way it should do. Rather than like having the kind of guesswork, and like pre-designed stuff like that. Just draw it straight on like this. Plus, it's just really fun to do. I love using this. So we've got this here. So yeah, let's have this come off here, I think. 1, 2, 3. Okay, up there. 1, 2. I can kind of go there. Kind of down because it kind of sits a bit bigger. I would normally kind of go through like the middle point there, but I quite like how that's kind of sitting to the side. You know, sometimes, I don't know, just it's weird, but sometimes a little thing off to the side just kind of works. It either looks really good or it looks terrible when you do it. You know, so don't expect it to get right every time, but yeah, try a little bit of asymmetry sometimes. It's nice. And careful when you're switching colours. And then again, we're going to leap, curve to a point. 1, 2, 3. Curve to point. 1, 2, 3. Again, line, 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 line. Try to get them kind of match up on either side. If they're like uneven, it just doesn't look right. And there we go. Now we have that. And I'm going to come down, like you've got a little line just coming through here, which I quite like. There's not going to be too many extra lines I'm going to throw in here. I think I might scrap this little line just here, and I might just go for 3 lines in this part, I think. So 1, 2. No, I don't like that's too much on the edge. Just, there we go. 1, 2, 3. Just makes them a little bit different. The rest I'm going to do with the shading and stuff like that. That's what I'm just going to happen. So we're going to come here, turn off our shading layers. And now you can see we have our nice rose that fits really nicely on this hand. So now that we have that, we can start shading it in. Now if you click on this, you can select reference, which we're going to do. And then you get the automatic tool and you can select and it's going to highlight within those areas. Again, if you drag, so if you click and drag, you're going to increase the selection threshold. This is where most people go wrong, because if you don't do this, you're going to get little white speckly areas around the outside and it gets really annoying. So just bump this up and it's going to select everything within that black area like that. And then when we sort of shade it, it's going to look really good. So again, if you want to go for a really cool tattoo effect, use my tattoo needle set, which is really cool. But again, I'm going to go for what everyone has. So I'm just going to select my, let's go for spray paint, medium nozzle. It's always one of my favorite ones. And make sure you're now on the shading layer, okay? Not the line work layer, go to the shading layer, please. Let's get our brush to the right kind of size we want. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Cool. So now it's going to get a little bit back, just in here. Nothing too crazy. And we're going pure black here. And I'm just going to work around the edges. So you can see we're kind of get this little curve here. Kind of curve bit just there. Because you've got a few options you can do for this. You can either do that, and then kind of reds off there. Or when you get your colour, let me just show you as a quick example before I start colouring in so I can understand what we're on about. So your colour is either going to go to the edge. If it's not going to go to the edge, your colour is going to want to fade. So you're going to come out like this and it's going to fade. You see? Your fade can come from this way and it can come from this way if you want. So you kind of get these kind of sort of double effects. And you get this nice highlight down the centre. If it's not going to do that, so you're going to want to bring it quite close to your edge on your line. So shrink this down. A little bit bigger than that. And then come to the edge like this, and you're going to leave a little white line around the edge. And then the other option is doing the exact same thing, but with a very hard edge. So you basically come in this, and you use something like an inking brush, like the studio pen, and you basically do it, and you get that perfect kind of graphic hard edge. That's the main ways you're going to want to colour it. Now, if you are going to do like that kind of line effect, then obviously the black and grey shading coming from the edge here might ruin your kind of look. So it might be worth not doing that. But mine's going to be a bit different for that, so I'm going to go to the edge. But just so you understand the thought process between how you're going to sort of shade it, that's the sort of things you can do. So again, just going to get this up a little bit bigger. A little bit less than that, don't too much. Mine's just going to be from the red. I just want a little hint of shadow. A lot of time it's just going to come from this corner, like this, and like this. And where we've got that little line on the side here, that's basically where that bit kind of loops up over the top. So I'm going to erase that bit on this one side. So it's all coming from that under bit. So you see this now feels like a curve around the edge. Same thing on here. So you do that, and then I'm just going to raise a bit just there. That's the idea of these lines. You basically just want to fit in these kind of lines. Now I'm going to select all the inside bits. Now another option you can do for this, which looks pretty cool. You can shade the whole inside bit and leave like an outside edge like so. You can select the corners like this, and you can kind of go classic old school. You basically just sort of shade on the outside edge like this. If you do this sometimes, you want to be careful with the shading on the outside because you don't want it to all kind of mix. But it's one of the kind of options. But there's loads of different kind of ways you can do it. Again, you can just kind of go from the outside edge like this, which I'm not really a fan of. It does work with some people, but it's just not really what I would normally do. But I'm going to go for the inside edge bit. Simple, it's really effective. And I don't know, I like the fact that it has a little white edge. It makes the actual petals stand out even more. And when we do the red, it looks really good as well, because it's like a black center with a red around the outside. It's important to remember as well, like if you're going colour or not, because if I was, say, using black and grey, and say I wasn't going for any colour in it, I might consider bringing this out a bit more. You know, so I've sort of go like this, and use the grey shades far more inside it, like so. You know, but because I'm going to be using the red for that, that's why I'm not going too far with the black. I just want the black to be quite minimal. So just like so. And just a little bit just in here. And now we've got the inside petals done, I'm going to select our leaves. I'm going to select the main ones. Now again, I'm going to show you the options you kind of have. So one of the base options, which is real simple, you just go from the bottom and fade upwards. Can never go wrong, real simple. You can fade the other way, which is a bit weird, but you can do if you want. Another classic option, what a lot of people do, is you kind of sort of shade up around the stem. So I need a little bit bigger for that. You kind of shade up down the center like so, which looks pretty good. Just like that. And just like that. And just like that. Which I think I'm going to do. I quite like that. It's quite nice. Just going to put a little bit of black just in there. And then I'm going to select our little extra petals. And I think for this one, I was going to go, well, I'll show you again the options. You know, I want to show you, so you guys, I sort of know. So what you can always do is go like this and leave like an edge on the outside. You can always just do the inside part. Like so, and leave an outside edge. You can go top and bottom if you want to leave a little highlight in the middle. You can go top, down. You can go bottom, up. And the bottom up's the one I think I'm going to go for. It's always one of my favourites for this kind of classic, old school kind of rose. So just like that, we have our black shading. And like I said, you can see the black is very strong. In the areas, it's very short shading, which is very classic and traditional. You know, it's like a very quick transition, which is what you want. So now we're going to go down to the colour layer. And I'm going to select a really nice, beautiful, strong red, which is classic rose. And I was going to select two to begin with. Now, I always prefer doing this because I can work on two without interfering in the other ones. So you select one side, the other side. It just makes the workflow a little bit quicker. So I'm going to draw on this part and draw around here. So I'm basically going around the black. So anywhere I've done a black, I'm basically just kind of building off of that and creating a nice highlight in the middle. Or on the edges. Again, you can just bold it in if you want, which does look pretty cool. We'll go this way, and I'm going to go this way. Because I said, every single way you do the rose is going to make it look so, so different. And then let's select these two. This one I'm just going to go like a nice kind of blur out like that, so you've got the highlight on the edge. It's nice to have a little mix up of styles sometimes, as long as you're going to include in a couple of little areas. So that's going to go here, and I'm going to do the same thing on these overtones, just like a nice kind of fade out. Yeah, I'm liking that. A bit of red up from that point. Now I'm going to select the inside part And you have the option of just going bold red, which I think I'm going to go for. You could always just like go a little bit out to the edge more if you want to, kind of a little bit around the outside. But for this specific style, I'm just going to bold it in reds. You know, red around the outside, so when this bit feels solid, and the other parts have the highlight. You know, that's my kind of thought process behind it. Now I'm going to select me a nice dark green, a nice classic traditional green. And I'm just going to kind of go around that edge. Shrink it down just ever so slightly. So just again behind that black. Just like so. And I'm going to select these and those little inside bits just there. Going to select me a nice yellow to begin with. This trumpet yellow. There we go. Just like that. And then select me a different slightly green. So this one's a bit more of a kind of woodsy kind of green. Just like so. And then lastly, we have our little overtones. And I'm going to select me a nice kind of steel blue. So around here. And again, nothing too crazy, just pure around the edge. And there we have, people. That's how you draw a nice classic traditional rose. It's a fun one. You can see how it kind of fits on there, and it's nice because when you have it like this, you can actually really work within the spaces and shapes, so everything kind of fits kind of how you want it to. I said you can modify it, you can change it around. I showed you guys all the kind of techniques and how to sort of shade it and stuff like that. And yeah, if you do like my models, people, and you want to go something like this, just check out, go to tattoospace.com. The link's in the bio below as well, so you can kind of see exactly where it is and stuff like that. There's two, there's the deluxe and there's the standard. The standard's a nice kind of like smaller one, where you got the back of the arm and you got a whole bunch of stencil designs and stuff to really work with. So it's really cool, people. Make sure to check out. If not, follow me other stuff. There's going to be more to come. But that is how you draw a traditional hand, people. And I'll see you next time. Peace.